Hello and welcome everyone. So today in this video we will look at another JavaScript front-end interview problem. So in this problem we have to create a mock server. So in mock server implementation what we will have, so how a server looks like. A server gets a request and you send it and the server gets a request and server sends a response. So getting sending a request and getting a response, there the time of that full cycle can vary. Like you can get the response back in 1 second, or you can get the response back in half second or 2 seconds. So the time can vary. So the variable here of talking to a server is time. And also another variable here is that the request may get fail as well, the request may succeed as well. So at times the request may fail because of some rate limiting or some course issue or some any other issue. So the request can succeed as well and can fail as well. So there is another variable of the request getting pass or request getting fail. So these are so to create a bare minimum basic server, these are the two variables that we need to mock or to create, to implement, right? So in order for us to create a mock server should look like this. Like you send the server a data, and then server returns a promise with the result here. So the server can either fail, the server can either succeed, then we'll run this or then, or the server can also fail with some 400 or 500 bad requests, then we'll run our catch. So our mock server will look like this. We'll send it a data and then we'll get a response if it passes, or we'll get an error if it fails. So in this mock server implementation, what we need is two variables. One is the time with which we get a response back, and the other is whether our request response succeeds or fails. So let's create first our boolean. So we'll create first a random boolean function. So random boolean function will tell us whether our request will fail or pass. This will tell us whether our request will fail or pass. So we'll generate a random method, random number, return math dot random less than 0.5. So this will give us a random number, and if the random number is less than 0.5, we'll return true, else return false. So this will give a roughly 50-50 probability of getting true and false. So if it gets true, then we'll just pass our then we'll succeed our request in our mock server implementation. If it returns false, then we'll fail our request in our mock server implementation. So let's write this as well. Mock server. So this will take data as a request payload, and this will return a promise. Now in the promise, we know that there will be a random timeout with which our request will either fail or pass. So there will be a random timeout with which our request will either fail or pass. This random timeout is the time the server takes to give back a response. So let's create a random timeout using math.random. So we'll multiply math.random with a latency. So this will give us some random time with which our our server will give us back our response. So now using set timeout, we'll pass back our response, and this will run after random timeout. Now we will call this function random bool. Now if a random bool is true, we will resolve with our data, or if it is false, then we will throw an error. So this is a basic implementation. Now I'll run this and see if it works. So if it works, if it passes, okay, so we are seeing that it fails. Random timeout is not defined. Random timeout. Yeah, I'll save this again. I'll run this. So we are getting error here. So this time our mock server failed because our random bool returned false. If I run this again, let's see what we get. So we're still getting error. If I run this again, now I'm getting back our result successfully. That means our random bool returned true. So we have created a basic mock sub implementation where we where either server passes the request if it returns true, or fails the request if it returns false. And we are also given a random timeout that this here implies that after this amount of time our server will return back a response. So this is basically our average latency, or the latency with which server returns our response. So this was all for today. I'll see you next one.